Hi, my name is Mariela Chavez and I will be doing my presentation on should all elementary schools be required to teach a foreign language. I chose this topic because it is important for me. I come from a Mexican household where Spanish was my first language and English was my second. Those of us who come from a household where we speak two languages, we were told as we were growing up, or in my case I was, that my two languages would be affected, and my Spanish will affect my academic life, and it would not let me fully comprehend English. Well, here I am. Teaching a second language or a foreign language in elementary schools has many benefits and of course some downsides, just like everything else. But the benefits are it helps children develop better reading and writing skills. It's beneficial for them in the long run for their careers. And learning a second language at a young age is much easier than learning it later in life. My first point as to why elementary school should be required to teach a foreign language is because it is easier to learn a second language when your brain is still developing at a young age. Psychology has shown that it is easier for children at the age of 7 or younger to grasp onto another language better. Why? Well, children use simple words that do not require them to have complex thoughts, which makes it easier for them to adhere a second language. Children's brains are able to take a second language because of the alertness of the neuroplasticity at this stage in life, which is basically the brain's ability to form new neural connections and brain cells throughout the lifespan of a person. Not only is it easier for children to learn a second language at a young age, but it also helps their brain develop more creativity and mental flexibility. When it comes to learning a second language, the child becomes better at problem solving, critical thinking, improving their memories, like I said, creativity, etc. Learning a new language is complex, which puts your brain to work, and it becomes stronger. And in the future, it allows you to learn a third language at a much easier level than a monolingual could. How many of us or of you come from a household where English was your second language, and how has it benefited you up until now in life? To expand, a significant reason to learn a second language while you are young is the benefit it comes with when you start a career. Think to yourself, how many of you have helped others who spoke the same language as you because they did not know English, especially as a child? From my own experience, I am, and I was, and I still am, the niece who everyone comes to when it comes to translating documents, helping my little cousins with their homework, or being an interpreter for the doctor. These experiences have shown me how important it is to learn a second language as a child. Because compared to my other relatives, say cousins, brothers, etc., I am the one shown me how important it is to learn a second language as a child. Because compared to my other relatives, such as cousins, uncles, who learn Spanish much later in their life, have more difficult time interpreting one language to another. Now ask yourself, or who can relate? Those who come from a household where more than one language is spoken, you are constantly reminded that being bilingual is good for your career or your future. Although as a child, you ask yourself why, if your peers at school do not speak another language because you do not. The reason companies are starting to hire more bilingual people is because they are trying to expand to the global market. And having employees that are able to communicate to others, speak in their native language, it brings them in as consumers or customers, earning them money and power over a different country or continent or whatever. That's when a bilingual person becomes an asset to a company. As more people pursue a higher education, the more competition there is to land the career and position you want. So in order to stand out, sometimes it's good, not sometimes, it's good to be bilingual or know more than two languages and be fluent in them, because it opens up doors, job opportunities, traveling opportunities, many opportunities for you. The United States is one of the few where it does not require elementary schools to learn a foreign language, because they believe it is too early and it could delay children in comprehending and fully comprehending English. The United States requires students to learn a foreign language once they are in high school at very minimal requirements. The reason being is the US doesn't want students mixing languages or having trouble with their speech. Although it has been shown that mixing languages is only a phase, and that it improves later on, especially if there is support coming from the household, the school, etc. In this research, I found an interesting fact, which I did not know about, which I was not aware about, and it was being bilingual protects your brain against aging. Why? Because having to switch from one language to another keeps your brain working. For this presentation, there's many evidence that points towards the benefits of teaching foreign language at elementary school, such as expanding the children's brain, the brain development, having a good long-term effect on their careers, how easy it is to learn at a young age, and the prevention of the brain aging with time. To end, Sac State is one of the many schools that has such a diverse population, many being first-generation college students, thus speaking more than one language, where sometimes they did have difficulty learning or comprehending English because at home they would speak their native language and they would have to speak their second language, being English, at school. If elementary schools were to implement a foreign language, this would benefit all students because they would have the resources to expand in their native language as well as succeed in their second language, being English.